boys and girls. Welcome to Everyday Math Lesson Unit 9 Review. The materials that you'll need today, your pencil, and then the Unit 9 Math Review packet. If you don't have one, then write your answers on a whiteboard or in a notebook. Let's get started. So I'll talk about half of the page for each of these, and then I'll ask that you pause the video to solve, and then we'll go over the answers on the pages. So if you take a look at question number 1, measure the following lines in both inches and centimeters. Now for some of them, they were really close to right on a half. So for a couple of them, I did measure to the nearest half, but otherwise you could also measure to the nearest inch or centimeter too. For question 2, if you can find both the perimeter and the area for the following figures. So press pause to solve and then play when you're ready to check. All right, second graders, we'll talk about the answers. And if at any time I'm going too fast, pause as often as needed. So for question number 1, when I measured that first line in inches, I had 5 inches. And then when I measured the same line in centimeters, I had about 13 centimeters. So if you had something different, if you want to put your template or your ruler back on to try measuring one more time. Then for the second one, it was right on 2.5 inches. So I did say 2.5. If you rounded that to the nearest inch, that's okay too. And then for the centimeters, it was pretty much right on 6.5 centimeters. So I did have half for these two. Then for our next one, for my inches, it was 3 inches. And then for centimeters, I had 8 centimeters. When we're finding the perimeter, we're looking at the distance going around. So I'm adding up all of my sides going around. So I had a perimeter of 14. I know it's 14 because 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So I have a 4 by 3, which is 7. And 7 plus 7 is 14. And then for my area, I'm looking at what's inside. So I have 4 by 3. 4 times 3 is 12, or 4 plus 4 plus 4 is also 12 for an area. Then for my perimeter, looking around the outside, I had 14 as I counted each of those lines going around. And then looking at how many boxes are inside, my area was 6. So double check to make sure you have your page correct before moving on to the next half of the page. Then for question 3, measure the sides of the triangle to the nearest centimeter. So this one we want it to be just a whole number. And then add those numbers up to find the perimeter. For question 4, complete the circle map with 3 other names for half. So if you can write some names inside this outer circle. Press pause and then play when you're ready to check. All right, so when I measured my sides, I had 4 centimeters, 3 centimeters, and 6 centimeters. Then when I add them up, I know that 4 plus 6 equals 10, plus 3 more gives me a perimeter of 13. For question 4, there's lots of possible answers, but these are 3 names for half that you could have had. So 2/4, 3/6, 4/8. Maybe you also drew a picture. So double check to make sure you have yours right before moving on to the second page. So for question 5, draw a line segment EF, and then draw a line segment that is parallel to EF and label it GH. For question 7, make a ballpark estimate, write the number model for your estimate, and then you could solve for the actual answer too. Press pause and then play when you're ready to check. All right, so for question 5, the first thing I needed to do was draw that line segment EF, and then I made my second line segment down below. You could have made it somewhere different as long as you're showing that the 2 lines will never meet, that they are parallel, and that you labeled your line segment GH. For question 7, make a ballpark estimate. So I rounded 32 to 30. I rounded 58 to 60. 30 plus 60 equals 90. And then when solving, I know that 2 plus 8 is 10. I carried my 1, put my 0 below. 3 plus 1 plus 5 is 9. So my actual answer was also 90. For the next part of the page, we're going to look at the following data sets to find the median number. So notice how these numbers are not in order yet. So you might want to use the space either above or below to put those numbers in order to find the median for both of these for number 8. And then for number 9, the top 3 you are solving by adding, and the bottom 3 you're solving by subtracting. If you want to answer questions 10, 11, 12 about what was the simplest, difficult, and what math you will look at before the test, you can. All right, why don't you press pause and then play when you're ready to check. All right, so when finding the median, the first thing I needed to do is put my numbers in order. So I have 19, 24, 28, 32, 37, 49, and 53. And then I could start crossing off my smallest and my biggest. And I keep going until I end up with that one middle number, which my median for the first one was 32. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the second one. I'm going to put those numbers in order. So it looks like I have 1, 3, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11. And then I can start crossing off my smallest and my biggest. And keep crossing off until I have that one final middle number, which in that one was 5. For question 9, when I'm solving 18 plus 24, I know that 8 plus 4 is 12. I carried my 1 to put my 2 below, and then 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4 for an answer of 42. When I have 63 plus 42, I know that 3 plus 2 is 5, and then 6 plus 4 is 10 for 105. 74 plus 21, I know 4 plus 1 is 5, and 7 plus 2 is 9 for an answer of 95. Then when I was subtracting, I know that 76 minus 23, 6 minus 3 is 3, and then 7 minus 2 is 5 for my answer of 53. 94 minus 14, 4 minus 4 is 0, and then 9 minus 1 is 8 for an answer of 80. For my last one, I have 62 minus 36. I couldn't take away 2 minus 6, so I went next door, changed my 6 to a 5. My 2 now becomes a 12. 12 minus 6 is 6, and then 5 minus 3 is 2 for my answer of 26. All right, I'll see you next time.